Sarah Grimke was born on November 29, 1792. 13 years later, her sister Angelina was born on February 20, 1805. Both sisters were born into a huge slaveholding family. Sarah was highly intelligent but could not go to school. She taught herself philosophy, law, and Latin. As a girl, Sarah Grimke was around hundreds of slaves. One day, she accidentally saw a slave getting whipped. She ran away from home, but eventually came back. After that, Sarah was forever against slavery. Later on, she taught a slave girl how to read. Sarah Grimke was drawn to the Quaker faith because even though the church said that all men were equal, they treated slaves in the South like animals. But in the Quaker faith, they treated black people with respect and dignity. When Sarah learned of her mother's pregnancy, she wanted to be the godmother of the child. Her mother agreed. Sarah converted her godchild/sister into a Quaker. Another Grimke abolitionist was born. When Angelina Grimke witnessed how cruelly a slave rebellion was handled, and how William Lloyd Garrison stuck up for the slaves and condemned the law enforcers who carried out the cruel punishments, she felt very angry and sympathetic. Later, she wrote a sympathetic letter to William Lloyd Garrison. Without her knowing, it was published in his paper, The Liberator. Angelina then decided to become an abolitionist and move north with her sister. Angelina Grimke tried many things to stop slavery. Angelina wrote a pamphlet called Appeal to the Christian Women of the South. This pamphlet was one of the most influential papers in stopping slavery. Later on, she and her sister would be the first women to speak in front of a mixed audience against slavery. Sarah Grimke, like her sister Angelina, tried many things to try and stop slavery. She helped Theodore Weld with the famous book Slavery as It Is. Also, Sarah wrote a pamphlet called An Epistle to the Clergy of the Southern States, also a very influential paper. Harriet Tubman was very similar to the Grimke sisters. They both wanted to free slaves and end slavery. They both knew slavery was wrong, and they both fought hard against slavery. But Harriet Tubman actually went out and freed slaves through her knowledge of the Underground Railroad, while the sisters used their skills in writing and speaking to fight against slavery. In early 1837, the Grimke sisters started their speaking tour in New York City. They spoke about why slavery should be abolished everywhere. Southerners were enraged that they were against slavery, while Northerners were enraged at the fact that women were speaking to an audience of men. The Grimke sisters were getting criticized by the press and their church. They weren't allowed to speak in many churches in the North, but still they persevered and drew in huge crowds for their speeches. And on February 1838, Angelina Grimke was the first woman to talk to the state legislature. While attending the Philadelphia Anti-Slave Convention and giving a speech, an angry mob threw rocks through the windows and later burned the building down. On May 1838, Angelina married Theodore Weld. Angelina was expelled from her church for marrying a Presbyterian. So was Sarah for attending the wedding. The media were all over the Grimke sisters, calling them names like She-Devil. The sisters and Weld finally pulled out of public speaking and moved to Fort Lee, New Jersey, where they worked on the famous book, American Slavery as It Is. My great desire on this matter would not be totally suppressed, and I took an almost malicious satisfaction in teaching my little waiting maid at night, when she was supposed to be occupied in combing and brushing my long locks. The light was put out, the keyhole screened, and flat on our stomachs, before the fire, with the spelling book under our eyes, we defied the laws of South Carolina. The Grimke sisters were the most influential women in the 1800s, whether it be in women's rights or slaves' rights. Barack Obama is also very influential, and he is working right now to try and stop slavery around the world in the 21st century. Also, the Grimke sisters, who fought against slavery for years, have succeeded in making America a free country for everyone, African Americans and women. And this 2009/8 proves that. We had a woman running for president and for vice president, and an African American who is president right now.